to provide more perspective on the post-apartheid era in South Africa.
There's a lot of excitement, I think. These are going to be defining elections for ANC especially. They've been in power now, I think, for the last 30 years, since 1994. Political landscape is changing from the old sort of apartheid, anti-apartheid ideological sort of persuasion to a much more social class initial fighting apartheid. We are past that. Like in many African states, when we move from colonialism, you can't be talking the colonial sort of language 30 years after independence. So the same thing in South Africa. It's expected. So there are issues of social class divisions, the haves and have-nots, not just the whites and blacks, but the haves and have-nots. Because in the have-nots, you also find the white, the coloreds, and the Asians. So it's more of a social class issue now that has to be addressed.
When you talk about political empowerment and economic empowerment, there is a very, very big disconnect. From you being on the ground, you teach there, you've gone back and forth to South Africa. What's your take on that?
Question of redistribution of wealth in the country, job creation. There's a lot of unemployment, crime, and so forth. And also the issue of land reforms, which has to be tackled in a very sensitive manner. You don't want to sort of go this in way in terms of how you do this. So those are some of the vexing questions if ANC were to win the elections. But even so, I think ANC might not get an outright majority as has been in the past. The demographics are changing. We've got many young people who were born after apartheid. Okay, so the country, these young people, they are looking at social class issues. They are looking at job opportunities. They are looking at day-to-day prices of commodities and so forth. I see a situation where most likely if ANC doesn't get an outright majority, there might be a bit of a coalition to sort of have a big say in the National Assembly.
Does the new kid on the block, I'm talking about Musholozi, Jacob Zuma, coming back into the mix make any difference? Or is he more of a threat to ANC?
He has had some successes. He's won a number of cases, especially trademark intellectual property rights issues regarding the name Umkhonto weSizwe and the symbol, trademark symbol that they use and so forth. He's won those cases, and also there was a case where there was a question of whether he could actually stand. And, again, Umkhonto weSizwe won that case. So I think he's in a good position. However, he came out of ANC. And the fact that you sort of came out of a ruling party might have its own telling on how far you can go. But that said, he still has a lot of support in the KwaZulu-Natal region, which is his home base. It's a relatively new party. They still need experience to garner support. The EFF